When you are dealing with them, submission is how you use to win them.
Audio Jungle.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Mommy and I with me, Damilola or Mola. Mommy and I is a program for families, parents, intending parents. So if you are looking for a program where you can learn as a parent, grow, and help yourself, this is the right program for you. And of course, I want you to click on the subscribe button below, like, and share as you watch and be blessed as well. Today on the show, we're talking on the topic covering as a father, the role of covering as a father for the family. And traditionally, what they usually say to us as the role of a father is basically to provide, give the rules, and, do everything that needs to be done regarding teaching the children and protecting them. But there is more. And these days, even as much as they say protection, which is also an aspect of covering, we tend to, that role is not something that we talk so much about, but it is important. And that is why today I have my guest with me, Pastor Babatope Akinola, who is the lead pastor of RCCG Potterscott, a parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and also a businessman, to come talk to us on the role of covering as a father to the family. We want to learn. We want to know what this role is about and how fathers can, trace their steps back into what they should do regarding covering the family. And he's also a father of four, so I mean, there's a lot he's going to tell us about today. Yeah, welcome, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So thank you for the order. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, I said earlier that traditionally they would tell us the role of a father is to provide, which is basically what they would say, and of course provide for the family and then give rules. Father is the one that would probably give the authority and the final say in the family. But there is more to these roles. We usually leave the aspect of the father being a cover. And spiritually, aside physical covering, there is even more spiritually. But before we go into the nitty-gritty, I'd like you to explain to us what covering is. What does covering mean?
Covering, in the literal sense, is just like an umbrella.
Mm.
So when somebody is a covering, is a shield.
Mm.
So, and when you are under that cover, everything that is under it is what you endure.
Mm.
So, to cover in the literal sense is just the father being the protection and, in a way, being a shield over the family, which is very, very key.
Okay, thank you, sir. I also want to know, now that you said covering, why is that part of, that aspect of saying the father should also cover? Why do we neglect that part? Why do we expunge that part these days? Why is it not so much talked about? Or like providing, the father is supposed to provide and all.
In that area is not so much talked about.
Yes, it's not really talked about.
It's because in that area, it may not apply to day to day, but providing
It's constant.
day to day protection. So in a way, covering is still a protection, but there may not be a focus on it. But if you fail in that area, it's transgeneration. It's more heavy than feeding.
And that's why we are here. Because you just said something profound now. And I want to ask, you have a father as a pastor, and you are also a pastor. So let's go into the family now. Growing up, what are some of the things that you saw your dad do in terms of covering the family? Covering either spiritually, covering maybe, for instance, maybe they say something and then your father is the one covering it to say, no, I'm shielding my child from these things. So what did you see growing up, and what are the things that you also do?
Well, there's a bit of shift in the parental system, and but for him, growing up, he was a friend person. So when the rules don't go out, don't. So when you see that it's coming, you want to quickly get back to inside so I can meet you. And I think it was somebody that went extra mile when it comes to covering because I think there was a time things went south. But one of the things that actually touched me was that he went all the way to make sure that he was able to provide so that family is not exposed to unhealthy vices. So, and even to date, he has still been a cover because when things get to a crossroad, it's your father's consent matter.
True.
Get it? So there are things that he has, like somebody like him, there are things in ministry he succeeded. He started ministry quite late, so he retired at 70, but everywhere he moves to do ministry, his impact is still there. When he did not, things that he did for them when he was there. So I saw him succeed in ministry. I saw ministry in his hand grew in his days. He was more into power ministry when he was. Me, I'm not into teaching, but he was more into power. They do deliverance. They have afternoon deliverance every week. People come from different places to his ministrations every week, like Wednesdays in the morning around 10 a.m. So they do all those things, and a lot of people's lives were impacted. Any church they took him to build. So I saw those things. Things happening in my life now. There were things that I picked from him. Punctuality was his life, and also people to care for people, for family was, and was a man with a soft heart. So those things. So in a way, through his covering, I picked a lot of values that I saw in his life play out. He was a simple person and never troublesome. So I picked those things, and even till now, just a call, just tell you, be careful, do this, do that. So in a way, it still further enforces what he has already done before.
Alright, thank you so much, sir. You are a father of four. I mean, I don't even know how you do it because even when I said mother of one, I'm always asking myself, who sent me? And then I can imagine a father of four. And then you're a pastor. There's a lot to juggle, there's a lot to balance. And then you also have to be there for the family, providing, protecting, covering them. How do you, I mean, there are fathers who are also asking themselves, okay, I've seen somebody that is also a father of four, that is also a pastor like me, and that is also a business person like me. They want to hear. How do you, I mean, juggle these things? How do you ensure that the family is not left behind? As much as you are caring for the members, caring for the workers, ministers and all, you are also giving your best to the family, covering them. How do you do that?
All I would say is God has been faithful, but I won't give myself a total excellent mark in that area. I'm still on the learning curve. Sure. So because the pastoral ministry started just about 5 years ago. So there's still a bit of trying to balance everything so that we will not be tending more towards a side more than the other. But it's a whole lot of work. So if you are not emotionally balanced, you might be seriously shifted off the track because the pressure from every side is coming and you are the center of it, Jesus. So the church, now, when people don't even understand that the pastor also can have marital issues. But every marital issue, they don't even know that you are having an argument with your wife. They are calling you sir. My husband just lock me out of the house. They don't want to know.
Probably at that time.
So you have to attend to it. And this one comes, this guy broke my heart, and that's why I want to see you. I'm really, okay, you're not looking for a way to find a balance for that young person so that you can continue life. So there's a lot. Cause, child to just wake up, sometimes in the middle of the night get a message. So there's a lot you have to, so it's capacity building means you have to grow fast as a pastor because the more you grow, the better the strength you get and the capacity you have to face all these things. So combining home, the ministry, the work front, in the present day is very challenging. I must be it's very, very challenging. But for me, I won't say I have the know-how, but it has just been God's grace. So many times, I can say I will fail and I'll start again and still try to go to the class again.
That's the most important.
That's just it. But sincerely, if anybody is also in this kind of issue that I am, I know having 4 children, sometimes we didn't plan to have this not much number of children, but somehow we are already there. So there's so much need to provide for everybody, get everybody to be good, and yet make sure that the family is taken care of is a lot. It's a lot. And all these children also need their personal attention. And so it requires special grace. But I can only say this can only be possible to the help of God. So, but much more, if one is in this kind of a shoe, then we must be open. We must be open to help. So, open to advice, and don't be rigid, because you need to be dynamic to be able to go through this fatherhood, children, pastoring a church, doing business. So when you are open, part-time per week, it's likely you will get a new knowledge that will shift you into a new approach. So many times when you're in this shoe, one of the major things is approach. So, and one approach that has helped me in the midst of all these things is when Jesus said, "Cast all your cares upon me." So I make sure that I don't allow things to bother me. So when they ask me when we're building the pavilion, how am I sleeping?
Right?
I said that I sleep. So, but how are you? Because sometimes, when you are in the middle of a project that you are having loan millions, and
you keep thinking on how.
So, but I said that I want to know what I think, but I've just come to a point in my life where I can't help myself. So why bother?
When we can give everything to Jesus.
So it has really helped in the long run.
Okay. Now I'm going to cover spiritually now. Usually, what I have seen, I would hear, I am who I am, if not for my praying mother. And then it gets to me and I'm like, if not for your praying mother, what happened to the father? And I mean, these are things that we hear and we see. If not for my mom that has been praying for me, if not for my mom or that has been doing this. And I'm like, okay, what happened to the father? And your father's not praying, and the daddy's not praying. So we want to hear from you. Why is it that we have more of the women praying for the family as against the men?
Well, that's a very good question. It's a fallout, and it's a generational weakness. So, which must not continue. That's why the new school is shouting about it. That the father is a priest and must stay in that office. But the truth is, when you look back to the generation of our mothers, they were the prayer champions. So when you get to church, the women you see they pray, but the father, because of the role of the provision, they seem to be so much given to business, work, and labor. So that's most men, though, who say that it was guarding that God gave to them, because which is right. But we must not now second prayer. But in so many cases, men second prayer because they feel they make excuses that they are tired, that they have gone, they have labored. So many times we have seen those labor go down the drain because there was no spiritual pillar to it. So women, so many times, so many families, women have been instrumental to the success of the family. So many families. There in Africa, I've seen people where the father left them for almost 15, 20 years before he came back. But the woman kept praying and taking care of the children. But the man came back, and today they are hoping they are old people, they are living fine, and the children are fine. But it was the woman that stood in the gap. The woman said that Joe gives their testimony. One woman came to me, and the husband left home, and they prayed with her. So it was most of the times the women, they are always at the center of pulling back the home, even when the devil wants to get the man away. So women, I pray that it will continue. Women of that generation, the present generation may need to go and look for that value. They were the praying giants. They were people that were fighting for the home. They were in the war room. So the way home break nowadays compared to their own, it doesn't happen. But those women, they are warriors, and they fought. So So in a way, in their generation, their homes was not able to go out of shape because of them. But there's a new school of thought now that is calling the men to responsibility, which means stand up and stay in the middle of it. So that, because in that way, women carried a lot of burden in their generation. The burden was too much. Was too much. Then a lot of them carried a lot of burden that made them to grow old even faster. But now, the real order of things, the real order is that the man should be the prayer person. That's the real scriptural order. But it's cultural shift.
That made that.
But now, let's rearrange it. Yes, the woman should pray, but the man should lead it.
The man should be the cover.
Exactly, it should be the cover, let the woman be under it. So now, there's a recall, Babatope Akinola, one of his books, he was there. I read that book. So that stand up. So because we mostly shift that it is pastors that should pray, that the Jew prays around the clock and all those things. But it's just giving us a blueprint of what you have in you. It's praying over the church, but your own self-first church. So you should stand up and always stay in the gap. That's very important.
Now I'm going to take from your pastoral calling part now. So in a case where someone is seeing us now and says, I wish my husband, will stand up or would stand up to be the cover that it should be, how can they go about it? What can you say to the men? Sometimes they argue with you and say, okay, so what's the woman now doing? If I am providing, if I am the cover, if I am protecting, if I am doing all this, what then should the woman do? But then we also want, as women, that our men should also be covers. I mean, nobody wants that you want to wake in the middle of the night or you have a dream and all, and you can't go to your husband to say, please pray for me, or this is what is happening, this is what I see. Because it just feels like you're a prayer warrior. You know how to pray, go and pray. So how do men go about this?
Well, firstly, it's a lot of pain when the woman cannot turn to anybody. Yeah, it's a lot of pain, and it exposes them. That's why a lot of women are victims of fake prophets.
Yes, that.
They were looking for cover where there was no cover. So it's a lot of pain. But now let's come to the reality. The ideal. The ideal is that the man should be the cover.
Yeah.
But the truth is that in so many homes,
the man is.
They are not even close to it. So will you now open the home up to the devil? I've seen homes where the faith of the woman is stronger than the faith of the man. So in such cases where your husband is not in that picture, you have to become the intercessor to bring him to that seat.
What if he doesn't see it?
Doesn't have to see it, just keep praying for him. Because it's just one encounter that shifts a man. One encounter. You may never recover it from your life. So when you keep praying. One married man came to me and told me that it was his wife's prayer. That he just knew that the wife is his backup. So and that he sees it in his life, obviously, that this woman.
If not for her.
And that too. But now, in a way, a man just needs one encounter to rise up. So that's why the woman cannot stop praying. You cannot give up on your husband because it's not acting in that cover, that spiritual cover. He does everything for you, but spiritually you cannot run to him. But that's your husband. So in this case, you have to really pray for him so that he can enter his office. But if he doesn't enter that office, it's a problem also. But there's nothing intercession cannot do. So when you are telling God that God, I just want you to touch this man and bring him into where he's supposed to be. Because that will be a lot of joy to the woman. So that is important. But for the men, let me speak to the men. It's a call to responsibility. Because there is a lot to lose when a man becomes careless. A lot. One, if you fail to be the spiritual cover of your family, the kind of setback that the lineage have never experienced can come in. There are families that have never had were broken homes before
Yeah.
until they got to somebody's son.
Hmm.
Get it? So now, as well, that and my parents they live together till they die.
Why is it that?
Why will I be in that? So, but when you are not a cover, what has never happened before can happen in your time. So that's the man is the cover, and there are things that will not happen. You must take responsibility. Because now you are a father in the house, and suddenly your daughter brought in unwanted just pregnancy outside wedlock. One, we will not blame you outrightly, but the truth is that there was
Someone
an
feels
opening. How can a stranger come into the life of your daughter and got so intimate that girl brought pregnancy to you or under your roof? So accept responsibility. As a cover, you are not doing your work well. You are open in some areas. You have to find covering. So when you are a cover, what it means is the life of your wife and your children is not shaped to you. You are in their life. And not every one of us is in that picture. But that's the truth. That's how it should be. It should be in the life of everybody. So meaning that whatever they know that they won't be proud of, they won't do it outside. When you're not, they will not do it. So that has to be very. But for also spiritual cover for the man, it requires intentionality. These things they are built up. They don't happen in one day. So that somebody become prophetic, it's sometimes it's growth.
Gradual.
It's growth. So that you are now a prayer person that every night you pray because you started one day and you continued. And now that become a lifestyle. So I say, so when your children begin to say, I want to be able to pray like daddy, then it's getting clear to them that they have a call. Oh, I want to be able to know the scripture like daddy. I want to be able to bring up my family like that because it's they believe that as a covering is very obvious that you are impacting their lives.
Now let's talk about some of the challenges. There are some people who really want, cover aside even the spiritual aspect, they also want to cover in every other aspect. But they just don't know how. Probably maybe their upbringing, like you said earlier, if a child wants to do something, it's probably because of what he or she has seen. So there are some people who maybe their upbringing or the environment, they just don't know how. But they know that they have the responsibility to also be a cover. But they don't know how. So what are some of these challenges that can affect them?
Well, there are challenges, a lot of challenges. It's upbringing. So, but your background is not sufficient to put you on the ground. So, you can find a mentor. You know, the best way to learn is to remember example. So, when we get close to somebody that is doing it right, we will likely get it right. To just get somebody who, when it comes to this fatherly role, is doing well. Sometimes I have my friend who will not be in UK, his children are in UK, but I sometimes see how he will call and talk to the wife in the night, share to pray and all those things. The children are they going to bed. I was just with him, but I was seeing his conversations. No, they send something to you. So when you have people who are doing it right, there are things you pick naturally to begin to be a cover to your family. So it's very, very important. And what was saying when their first daughter got baptized in the Holy Ghost, how they did it and everything, even to the extent that even when they brought in an housemaid, that it was their daughter that was missing to the housemaid. Yeah, but now even that housemaid has become fire more than the No, when she was sharing all those things with me, it was challenging my faith. Like your family, all these things are happening. Said because of their daughter, that they gave their daughter attention, and that girl had become that their first daughter, she's the one sitting over all our younger ones. She had become even in the house, she's a priest. That the housemaid has to listen to her. So I think that's what it means. When you have the right people in your life, you can learn from them and actually pick it up from their home. But so just watch your association.
Okay. Now let's talk about society and expectations. We have to be careful These days, like my husband would say, internet parents. There are some people that would say, oh, this is what should be done, this is not how it should be done. But we know that there are some things that are standard. There are some things that we should do as a mom, there are some things that you should do as a dad. How do cultural expectations or the societal norm, how do they influence parents or a father being a cover?
Well, the influences are much, but we must choose our values, which is very key. So I asked myself about 2 years ago that what will be my legacy? Because legacy is valuable than every other thing. It's valuable than the money you give for the children when you are going and the houses and everything. Your values is legacy. So the legacy that you leave for the children becomes the testament of your life that has transferred to them. So that's it. So when it comes to the influence of culture, we have a wonderful culture. There's a lot to pick from our culture. And there are other also extremes. We can now check and balance it. But I must tell you, our culture in Africa, in a way, to the very good side, a lot of them embrace a lot of good values. But in extreme cases, we can cut those ones off. So, like now, I don't believe in the cultural. A father is more of a provider, so the mother is the one that is doing the home keeping and all those things. Like in the ancient time, the father will come and sit down and will bring food to him and all those things, which is good. But also, there must be a balance for support and help in the family. So where daddy can be humble enough to wash dishes, cook and all those kind of things. But the cultural Yoruba thing may not focus on that area. But you must know that these are values that speaks about the humility of the father, and these things also connect you to the family better. Because it means you are serving your family. You don't be in the picture where they are always serving you. So why would you teach them about also serving them? So which is so when it comes to our culture, there's a lot of influences, but we must carefully choose our values and stay on them. But yes, we women in our generation have to be careful. Because one who have challenged me that they feel that the present day women they put a lot of abuses on men helping them. And the truth is, even our mothers in their days don't ask for the father's help. And they survived. So if a woman comes into marriage in our present day and you see it as a compulsory thing that you must help me, and you don't help me, there's a problem in this house, then you are just about to scatter your house because there are men who will not help you.
Don't see the need to.
And we are different. There are men who will not want to help. When you are dealing with them, submission is how you use to win them. So, but there must be balance. We must not allow the culture to ruin our family system, but also create a balance. But whichever way, let's create a value that connects everybody. And the father that you are watching play, doesn't mean you are not going to recover.
No. It doesn't even take away any of your responsibility.
That sometimes you listen to your children, doesn't mean that you're not going to recover. Yeah. So, or you listen to your wife, it doesn't change your authority, but it's just switching roles, being a dad, being a father, and that balance.
Let's talk about the present age now. Parenting in this time. What are some of the shifts? What are some of the roles that, like you said, changing roles? These days, the father will tell you, everybody is protecting. Everybody is, So what are some of the things that we still need to hold on to and not do away with, regardless of whether we're entering the Gen Z world or what are some of these things that we need to hold on to because they are needed? Otherwise, the children will have now, when they grow up, if we keep, neglecting some of these foundational roles and responsibilities, there might be a problem. So we need to understand some of these things that we need to hold on to as much as we are evolving. There are some things that does not evolve. It's just permanent. It's just how it should be.
Yes, you get this Gen Z, new generation, a lot of challenges. Plus information has increased. So our troubles are many. So when you are coming as a parent into the present century age, you must keep an open mind. You must not be rigid. Because the methodology of those times will not work now. So this present day parenting is a bit of flexibility, but yet you have to be firm. The present day parenting must not forget the values of the old parenting. There were excesses of those parenting, but they had some values. Do you know that growing up as a girl, for you, you will have modeled your mom. A lot of things that she does, you will have been doing them. So really, in the old parenting, it is the mother that is the model for the girl. That's why in those days, if you want to marry, go and look at the mother first. So, but the present age parenting, they have lost track of that. Every day, when a lady wakes up in the present day, what do you first do? You are modeling something for the child. My mom, when I was growing up, I knew her life. She wakes up around 4 a.m. because she was a civil servant. She would leave because she wanted to join, be able to go to work. So, and there are things she will have done before she leaves. When she comes back, I know what she will bring home. She will have buy one of the things from market. So what she does in the evening, preparing. So I knew her life day to day. This is my mom's life. And now she's retired. I still know she still wake up around 5. At that early, she will still wake up. And when she wake up, I know the first thing you'll be hearing her voice. She's praying. After that, she'll come and wake everybody. She's the one that wakes everybody in the family. And next thing is kitchen. She has a shop. So all those things, they have been part of her life. And at all day is still there. But the truth now is, can a child, a girl child, say in this present that I have a model. We are busy. There are distractions. We have a lot of engagement. Phone is changing our life. Get it, everything. So now we are indirectly modeling some things that are wrong to our children and we don't know. Because from morning to night we have the phone. So children feel like, phone is a life. So they are all fighting for the phone of the parent. Give me my phone. That is love. You don't enough, let me just show you the phone. So you are modeling something. So this needs to be corrected. So meaning that the present day parenting must be intentional and look for the right values that must become part of a lifestyle, day to day. Because as the child is waking up, he knows the first thing to do. That's to sweep the house. So now, if he grows up, it becomes a lifestyle also. So the present day parenting also must watch out for the right digital signals. Since, except as even ourselves, we're in the information age and technology has come to stay, so our children have access to a lot of information. So, but you must take the upper hand in giving them the information. So, meaning that you must have a deliberate digital signals that you are sending to your children. So, every day, see that you have a video to show them too. You have something to get. Something that because one, they have seen something before they came in, but also you are combating it with something to tell them. So your digital signals from your own table must be deliberate and intentional to combat what the world is also shooting at them. To balance it.
All right, thank you so very much for that response, sir. Now let's talk about how, fathers can continue to grow. Now we talked about the societal and the cultural, and then we've also talked about the present age, how we can, ensure that as much as we have the cultural parenting style, we have the present age parenting style. There are some that are very important that we cannot do away with. So even if we're evolving, we have to be careful. So now let's talk about these evolving in the roles, how fathers can grow to know that as much as we are evolving, we should also know that this is our role as a father, the covering, how we can evolve in our role to cover our families and to cover the children in ensuring that there's a family dynamic. Yeah. So how do you about that?
So growth is majorly what you eat.
So every growth is a product of a feeding pattern. So when we are deliberate as people who are fathers to seek for resources to feed on, there's a new result we get. So that's what they call this person is growing. So which is very, very fundamental, very important. So in the present age, I would want to speak to every father. There is no school for fathers. So most likely, you are just a version of your own father. So if you are not careful, the failures of your father can also repeat in your life. So, but for you to be a better version of him, then you must seek an update to upgrade from that version to something better. No matter how good somebody can be as a better version. So, but how do we get this? We seek knowledge. That's why the Bible says wisdom is important to get understanding. So when we seek knowledge to know more, then like now, as I was saying, is it possible to discipline your children without nagging? No, nagging has become part of the old style of parenting and has been transferred down to people like us. That it has become a lifestyle. You must just shout. But it was just like I was not thinking, okay, how can I correct this anomaly so that I'm still being firm, I'm still passing my message, but I'm never shaking. And I'm just
Saying
calm as possible.
but
And then the child can see that I'm still very firm. But it's usually difficult, but it's possible that there will be a transition. So it means there must be intentionality. You must seek knowledge on what's the new approach that I can use to do what I'm doing and which best way can I go about this. So this new knowledge is what brings out the new person in you. So I know that every father can be better if they desire to leave the status where they are to be better. And lastly, it's the connectivity with the family. It's very, very fundamental. There are a lot of difficulties because we are living with the personalities that are different. So, but what is important is the result.
Results are very important. And so before we call it a day, what would you like to say to, intending fathers or new fathers, people who are just, entering the role of being a father? What would you like to say to them?
What I'd like to say to them is they should be proactive. Don't wait for things to happen. Make things happen. A lot of mistakes I made, so which I discovered that coming into a new stage of life, don't get there before you discover that there are things you have not done. So as a new father, well, you are coming on board, but our advice, get a mentor. Get a mentor, seek knowledge. Don't wait for things to happen, but seek to know the pitfalls of those who have gone ahead of you. And seek to know those who have succeeded, who have gone ahead. And then look at their weaknesses and their strengths. And you become a better version of whoever who have gone ahead of you. But I can assure you that the future is bright. Welcome on board.
Welcome on board. Thank you so very much, sir. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for, the words of wisdom that you're giving to our dear dads and fathers. And going forward, I really do hope that we do better. We know that you want to provide, there's a lot to do, and then we also want to cover. But covering is as important as providing. So you can provide, it's a family that you have covered that you can provide for. A family that you have protected that you can provide for. If you are not covering them, sooner or later, something is going to happen. Like I said, if you leave your family open without covering, I'm referring to what you said earlier, there are things that would happen bad things, God forbid, that might begin from you that didn't happen before in your lineage or in your generation. I'm sure you do not want that. So going forward, I do hope that fathers do better, and then our mothers, please let's keep holding the fort for the family. Let's not stop, let's not relent. And the Lord will strengthen us and uphold every of our marriages and homes in the name of Jesus. A big thank you again, Pastor Babatope Akinola. God bless you, God bless your ministry, God bless the family, God bless all that concerns you in the name of Jesus. Till I come your way again next episode, my name again is Oluwadamilola Omola. Do not forget to click the subscribe button below, like, share, and drop a comment on what you have learned from this episode. Have a good day.
Audio Jungle.